What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today with a Destiny transition review for Queen Vesa. And Queen Vesa, in my opinion, got one of the saddest Destiny transition skills that we got. It is, I didn't really want to say one of the worst ones. It is by far one of the most disappointing ones, because people were hoping to see some huge damage numbers here, to see some huge damage increases there. And, well, we got nothing of that sort. She was one of the top damage dealers for Star Expedition for a very long time, keeping up with the likes of MFG and, well, mainly LFA. But that is no longer the case. LFA got some huge damage upgrades in his Destiny transition skill, and Queen Vesa, well, let's take a look at that. Her main skill is when self has 12 layers of transition power, consumes 12 layers of them to restore all allies 800% of attack HP, which is a decently sized heal. I mean, she basically heals with all her 4 skills anyway, so we got a lot of heal on her already. If you have her in your team, invest a little bit into her attack, maybe have some heal effect nodes and her bonus stats or something like that, and you will be on full attack with or without that, and full HP, I mean, so it's not really necessary. Also 12 layers of transition power, so you really have to do 2 active skills for an 800% attack heal. When we compare that to her normal active skill, there's already a 720% heal in there, and we do that 2 times, so it really is a 1440% attack heal. Also with a shield, something that we don't have in this skill, so yeah, this is like not spectacular to say the least. Bad if I'm being honest, and at least we could have needed it to add a shield to the allies. And honestly, I would have hoped for a more creative skill other than just some random heal. I guess most people would have just hoped for some damage. She has quite the potent active skill in terms of damage with the Newborn Radiance buff that also buffs her heal effect, by the way, but lets her active skill hit 1 more time, and this really leads to some huge active skills on the later rounds if you fight a Star Expedition boss, for example. But with the Destiny transition skill now, she's outclassed by LFA, as we said before. Let's take a look at the other skills. Maybe they can save it. Well, I can tell you they can't. Normal stuff here, just our regular, usually active skill to gain transition power. Then we have this. Addition increases all allies damage reduction by 12%. Is nice if you're in the endgame, have pretty huge strain sets. Keep in mind, damage reduction is capped, so you wouldn't really want to have too much of it. Then we have this effect of being healed. I mean, it is decent. Can have is a buff for all of your allies, so you can heal them more easily, which I don't really think if you have Queen Vesa on your team, you necessarily need that. I would think I would only use that if there is like an LDA meta or something like that, and there are really huge anti-heal effect attribute reductions in the game and in the regular PvP meta. Then I would use something like that. Other than that, we have enough heal anyway. Usually you will have enough. If you need more, use it, but it is not really necessary. And then we have the last one. Additionally increases all allies energy by 20. It's a solid choice. We have the same one on SQH. I think you can go with that and be fine. The other ones are mostly situational. Then we have additionally increases the attack of 2 enemies with the highest attack by 30% for 2 rounds. That is quite solid. Armor reduction, don't really know about that one, wouldn't really go for that. And then we have speed reduction by 30 for just 1 enemy. Yeah, can't really convince me now that we have soul power and like the highest speed enemies or the highest speed heroes in some PvP teams get like 400 speed from soul power, then 30 is just, yeah, it's not very spectacular. I would go for the attack reduction. That is quite substantial and is quite a good buff as well. If you can replicate that with DGN, that is quite nice. Then we have additionally reduces the effect of being healed for 1 enemy with the lowest HP by 80% for 3 rounds. If you can replicate that with DGN, maybe. Other than that, I mean, regularly it won't really do something. We are not really in a meta where you slowly chip away enemy HP. In some cases, like maybe with the CC teams, that is the case. But then again, against the CC team, you regularly don't get to attack with the Queen Vesa. So yeah, not too spectacular of an effect. What is the other one? This one I thought was quite nice. Even if it's a bit unclear, there's an extra 100% chance to inflict Silence Gag Order, her upgraded silence effect that also prevents enemies from inflicting critical damage on the enemy with 90 energy or above for 3 rounds. The question is, what do they mean with on the enemy? That is a bit unclear. If it's every enemy with 90 energy or above, that's quite nice. Against the CC team, just blocking them off from doing any kind of active skill is quite good, and for 3 rounds on top of that, I would say this is a pretty nice skill. The last one is another HP restoration, 1600% of attack for 1 ally with the lowest HP. I mean, it is decent again. There's no shield in there, it's just an HP restoration, so I would go for the middle one here. And then we have additionally increases all damage dealt. At least a small increase in her damage. So if you want more damage from her, use that. And we have crit damage. I wouldn't, as all allies, I guess. For all allies, it's decent. If it was just for her, I would say it's quite bad. For all allies, it's decent. I would probably even go for that. Self speed by 100. I mean, if you really invested into her soul power, have a huge tier copy, and just want to get that extra speed to maybe outspeed some heroes in a CC team, okay, I think I can see that. In regular PvE situation, you either go with the crit damage, or if you heavily invested into her, go with the all damage dealt. Then we have her transition skill, the upgraded version. When self has 12 layers of transition power, consumes 12 layers of them, remove 1 debuff from all allies, which is still unclear what they mean with debuff. That is a varying definition, sadly. Sometimes debuffs includes damage over time, sometimes it's just attribute reductions. So we'll have to test that in the future. Restore their HP by 800% of attack and grant them a shield equal to 100% of the healing amount. Afterwards increases all allies attack by 30% and armor by 50%, which is a nice buff. All allies 30% attack increase. I think that is very nice. We got the 800% HP restoration, which is still pretty weak. I mean, just compared it to our active skill. Let's see. Here then she restores all allies HP equal to 720% of attack 2 times, adds a shield equal to 100% of healing, and grants herself 1 layer of newborn radiance for 8 rounds. So the healing and the shield that she adds is stronger actually on her normal active skill, which is quite pathetic in my opinion. And then again, so is the damage of an LFA active, so in that sense, that way makes sense. We got this all allies attack buff by 30% and 50% armor buff. Often enough, the armor is close to being capped on a lot of heroes. But if you consider an armor break, that is also on the enemies, I think some extra armor will lead to some damage reduction that you have. And then the extra 30% attack is also quite nice. So at Destiny rank 6, I could see her being a good healer. And then again, we saw there isn't really too much happening on the way up there. And if we compare it to other Destiny transition skill reviews that we did on the likes of SSM, on the likes of BQA, it begs the question that if you have a Destiny rank 6 here, or even 2 or 3, will one of them really be your Farrakhan Vesa? Or will you rather go for an SSM or a BQA that can do massive damage or massive heals with a lot of really, really good buffs? So I would say if I have to decide even between Farrakhan Vesa and BQA, I would probably just have a BQA at Destiny rank 6 instead of a Farrakhan Vesa. Even though if I max out my team and I have like all of the Destiny rank 6 heroes, I will certainly appreciate the 30% attack buff, because that will be very nice indeed. So in total, Farrakhan Vesa was brought closer to her role of being a support healer, away from that archetype where she was like a damage dealer for Star Expedition. Now damage dealers are other heroes, are LFA for boss damage, maybe Swordsman Mockman for general PvEs, so same for DTV in that regard. But she's now mostly a healer. I personally use her in my PvP team for exactly that. The advantage for a CC team, for example, is that I can't really use HHA as a healer or to provide a shield for my team, because if I use my CC team, the enemy won't attack, so I can't block, so he doesn't do much for me. I replaced him with Farrakhan Vesa because Farrakhan Vesa provides shields and heals actively, by attacking the enemy, so that helped me out quite a lot. In terms of a Destiny transition, I think, well, she's one of the last heroes that you really want to build. She is a priest. Priests with Destiny transition are also not the best tenants. With Destiny transition, the order of tenants is now closer to that of the regular heroes. So you have warriors, which are great tenants. You have mages, which are great tenants. Then you have rangers, and then behind that are the priests, which are worse than the three classes I said before, and the worst tenants are now assassins, at least if you have Destiny transition on them. Without Destiny transition, it is still different for every single Transcendence hero. But there is now a new list. I think it's also in the Discord. You can find it in Tussibot, I think. So that is something to keep in mind. So the Feruchine Vesa is really not a hero you want to put Destiny transition on, at least not just now, maybe later. So that being said, this is also the 400th video that I made on this channel, and I want to thank all of you guys for sticking around. We are getting closer to the 9,000 subs. I'm quite happy about that. I actually can't wait till we finally reach that 10K, because that's like a big goal, I think. Just adding another digit to that number, it's quite huge, and I'm very happy to make videos for you guys. It's always nice. And again, I want to thank you. And with that, I wish you a great day. I will see us in the next one.